Hi, my name is Alejandro. We are Alto Designo. That is David, Arnold, Pablo, and Alex. And you are listening to Local Vibes.
Thank you so much for coming in. It was an absolutely amazing performance that you guys had. How do you feel?
Feel good, feel a little out of breath, a little nervous, light shining, a little hot in here.
No, for sure. It
Feeling
does get.
nice though. Thank you so much for having us again.
Of course. Yeah, I was telling everybody that we've been trying to get someone like this for a really long time, so it's good that's finally happening.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. I didn't know what I was doing sending that email. I was just hopeful. So, thank you so much for paying attention to us.
Yeah, of course. So I guess I'm really curious to learn how this band came about. So if you could, break down like how you guys know each other. How you guys started producing music. What was that like?
Yeah, for sure. So, we basically started out. I actually am not an original member. We actually started out with Arnold. He's one of the original founders. We had another founder, but he unfortunately had to leave. And then they started out, I believe, sometime around 2020, just like most people, playing with their friends, just enjoying the music and trying to learn together. And they got to a point where they're like, you know what, we can share this with whoever we know, and we can try to get gigs, and just kind of went about that way. After that, we got Pablo. Well, they got Pablo because I wasn't in yet, but they got Pablo. He brought another singer, and Pablo was playing accordion. Just same thing, just getting more gigs, kind of building it up from there and learning. After that, they called me one day at 3 a.m. Because they heard that I sang, and I had only sang in my shower. So I asked my mom, I was like, hey, can I go with these guys, sing some music? She was like, that's what you want? I've never heard of that before, but okay. So everything from there is history. It's been 3 a.m. nights ever since, and here we are.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys have remained very active within the scene. And back in October, you guys released a single with Mineral Man.
Yep.
So what was this process like for you both, creating music that draws from very distinct genres?
Yeah, so it was actually a great opportunity to work with Mineral Man. We met him through Arnold. Arnold was in barber school at the time, and Mineral Man was a geologist turned barber. So he had his college degree and just wanted to be a barber. And Arnold said, you know what? I have a friend here who makes music, and I'd like you to meet him. I thought he meant like a couple weeks in advance, but he brought him over that same day. And I had some studio equipment in my room, and we made the song then and there. It's just the first thing that came out. We met each other, made the song, and then 2 weeks later it was out. So it was really incredible to get to work with him and just to be able to mix, our Latin genre and our guitars with his genre and his words and his melodies. It was really nice. It was a great opportunity.
Yeah, the song sounded really great.
Thank you so much.
Especially with the melodies, mixing with the different genre. For
Yeah,
sure.
thank you so much. Completely mixed and mastered by Mineral Man. He
Wow.
did great on that. He was amazing.
Yeah. And what are some other artists at the Twin Cities that you would like to collaborate with?
Honestly, anybody that is willing to make great music together, we're open to any opportunity. And more than anything, I feel like with most people, we just do it for the love of the music. So anybody that's willing to come in and sit down and create with us, it's a great opportunity for us, and we think it's a great opportunity for everybody to work together and build off of each other. So pretty much anybody.
Yeah. And you've definitely not only gained recognition within the local scene, within the music sphere, but also the political sphere as well. In February, you were all invited to perform at the Minnesota State Capitol to celebrate the driver's license for all bill being passed into law. So personally, what significance does this passing of this law hold for you and your community?
Yeah, so for our community, it's a great deal. I mean, we're all Latinos, so for undocumented people to be able to drive to work and just do their basic living things, it's really something that we really wanted to be a part of. We were able to get that through someone that we played for before. We had no idea that they were in the political scene, and they just needed our help to really get the message heard and to really say, we are here. We're here for what we want, and we demand it, and we made our voice heard that day, it was great. So thankful to be a part of that. It was great.
Yeah. And being one of the few bands that play regional Mexican music, throughout Minnesota, have you encountered any barriers or challenges celebrating this genre of music in predominantly white spaces?
Yeah, it's been a little difficult trying to get into the same venues as other artists just because our music is a little bit different. We don't exactly fit into a set list of certain artists that are playing night by night. We definitely try to break down those barriers in any way that we can because we know that great music can be heard by anybody. So it breaks barriers regardless, so.
Yeah, and before the show, we were talking about some of these places that you perform, like Roomba, for example. Like, how has that been, playing music in those spaces that are exclusively, Latin?
Yeah. In places like that, it's really nice because the people that you're kind of familiar with are able to come out and show their support. A lot of people in the Minneapolis area don't really know, like you said, there's not many um, Mexican regional bands that play. So for places like that to open their doors to us and to open the doors to the Latin community to support one another, it's really great. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah. And although there's a large, community of Latinos throughout the Twin Cities, how do you view the current state of the Latin music scene? Are there any standout artists you'd like to recommend to anybody?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my friend here is also part of Diego y sus Cuates. There's a couple of other Latin bands that are definitely here. We work a lot with our great friend Miguel H. Perez, who's amazing as well. And I feel like the scene is just like kind of much, just the same as I described. So there's not many Latin people who know that there's a lot of these groups, so they don't get the chance to support it. And a lot of the big venues, they don't really reach out to the regional groups like local. So everybody's definitely trying to get their foot in the door and trying to get their voice heard. So
Do you have any sort of strategies to get your foot in the door with those bigger venues? Like, what do you? You mean you emailed us? What else do you do? Like, what's the connection like?
yeah, honestly, it's like you said. I emailed you guys, so my strategy is to just be annoying. Just try to make as many calls as possible. Just try to show people what we are, who we are, and try to show them that our voice should be heard. That we can show our voice, that we have something to show, that we have something to give to the people. And more than anything, if they enjoy it, then to give us a space for that. And we appreciate every opportunity that we get. So just trying to be as annoying as possible.
Yeah, for sure. And I really like, listening to the themes of your music. They're very, sad, very in touch with your, personal, side for sure. So what was that decision to kind of create music in that, way? Because a lot of traditional Mexican music is very macho, it's very tough. So
Yeah.
how is that like? Was it a little intimidating to, talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I owe that all to Pablo here. He's pretty much he writes a lot of our songs, and he kind of comes to us with the ideas. It's definitely in tune with your emotions, and just like I said, I mean, we use the music to express what we feel and express what we're feeling day to day. There's some songs in our upcoming album that we have that are, super happy, super joyful, and like parties and life is great. And there's some that definitely speak to a specific type of person and a specific type of feeling. So just getting in touch with whatever you're feeling day to day and kind of just writing ideas out just to be able to express yourself through the music. Because, I mean, for a lot of musicians, you can't express otherwise, so the music is a great way.
Yeah. And as much as you can tell us about this new upcoming album, how long has this been coming about? What else can you tell us? If you can.
We've been there's some songs in there that we've written 2-3 years ago. There's just honestly we've been starting out, so kind of being confident in our music is another step that we have to take. Like I said, these songs are a little bit old, some are newer. Some we just wrote last week, so it's kind of just a great big project that's it's gonna come all together. It's different genres of everything, like you said. It's got English in there, it's got Spanish, all types of rhythms and beats. So just giving the people a taste of what Alto Designo really is.
Yeah. And is there any projected date for that at all?
I would say in the next 2 months, in the next month, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah, just putting on the last details. I'm the producer as well, so I'm just putting on the last details on the masters, and we should be all set.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been producing for?
Honestly, I've been producing for 2 years. As I said, I started out in my room, and luckily we were able to get a small studio over in North. After that, we just kind of put our all into the studio because it looked really horrible. So after we got the studio, just been in there every single day. So for a full year, I would say, mixing and mastering.
And you also mentioned that a lot of artists throughout the Twin Cities, come in and out of these same studios.
Mm-hmm.
And like Sophia Aris,
Yep.
And were they ever able to give you like tips or, tricks when producing?
Yeah. I owe that a lot to our upstairs neighbor. He knows who he is. Just being able to open that door for us. We saw a lot of people that we never thought we would see in our lives. People that you see on these big stages, and just listening to them, kind of sitting in the corner. We're very shy ourselves. So just listening and being able to learn off of them and their experiences and their tantrums and their everything that they got going on. If they hear a song and don't like something, and they say it. So just being able to bring your music and your creativity into a space that's just free for all, upstairs is just really amazing. So we've been able to work off of that. A lot of the songs that we had from before, we take them upstairs, and now we're doing revisions on them, which we never thought we would have done. So it's great.
Yeah. And, making the music that you make and knowing that not a lot of artists at the Twin Cities play this kind of music, do you feel that, you have a unique perspective in the studio? Like, are you able to give these people pieces of advice that they weren't really expecting because of the way you guys, develop melodies or, the way you guys create your music?
I think that they definitely have a lot more to offer to us than us to them. I think musically, they can definitely learn off some of the guys here just because, he's playing on some of the songs. He definitely works with him as well upstairs, and just doing a lot of that, more learning off of them for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's always good.
Yeah.
And, over the last couple of years, artists like Peso Pluma, Bad Bunny, Junior H, they've rose to popularity in an astonishing rate.
Mhm.
And is it all surprising to you that traditional forms of Latin music have been able to sell out stadiums and come as far as they have today?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a surprise for a lot of Latin people, just because it was never really seen like that. One of the biggest, Vicente Fernandez, he didn't go on a world tour, and Peso Pluma's playing dates out in Europe and stuff. So it's definitely something that's big, and definitely opens a lot more doors for us. When we were playing 2 years ago, there weren't as many venues for Latin people, but now that it's a little bit more popular with Peso Pluma and Bad Bunny, it definitely helps a lot.
Mm. And what does that mean to represent a genre of music that is so, representative of your culture?
It means a lot because it's almost as carrying a legacy. A lot of these people learn from people that are older than them. They get passed down from aunts, uncles. So it's definitely carrying on that legacy and that style of music just to keep it alive no matter what, because it goes back hundreds and thousands of years. So as long as that keeps going, it's a great pleasure for us. And to be able to mix it with other genres now that we're in the cities and trying to make our name for ourselves, it's really amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious to hear more about your writing. Were there any particular artists that, kind of inspired you to want to take up, the pen and paper? At all?
Yeah, like definitely people who started up, like you said, Peso and like Junior. There's a little bit going more back to that, but definitely them just being so confident, like writing, posting it on social media. So I think basically them.
Was there anybody that helped you when you were first starting to get into it, in particular?
Yeah, a good friend that he already named, Miguel Ache. He's very good. His music is right on spot, and he's been writing for a long time. But yeah, I just go into with him and like tips, just a bunch of little things that help throughout the time of writing.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess this is a question for every one of you guys, but if you had to recommend, 3 artists that specialize in regional Mexican music to someone who doesn't know this genre at all, who would you pick and why?
I would personally start with, you said 3?
Yeah, 3.
I would say with Vicente Fernandez, just because that embodies the mariachi style of the Latin genre. I would say Ariel Camacho, because I feel like that's where a lot of the artists in this generation and in this region kind of like were inspired by. And then lastly, I would say probably Chalino Sanchez, just because it's another legend, it's another style of music, and all those 3 definitely kept it alive.
Yeah.
I'd say like Ramon Ayala. He's for norteño music. He's a really good inspiration. I'd say Junior H,
Hmm?
and like Peso Pluma probably too.
My favorite top artist probably would be Junior H. I would say maybe Nathaniel Cano and probably Ariel Camacho.
I think that they have probably said all of them, but I'm gonna recommend you like something from Ecuador. Actually, I'm from Ecuador. Like Alex Alvear is kind of like the mixture of this Latin stuff from Mexico and Ecuador. Maybe the Jitters, that's like kind of fusion. Obviously, like the thing that I was trying to learn with this type of music, it was like when I hear like for first time Peso Pluma. So go for it.
Mm. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in. We really had a great time. Yeah.
Thank
And,
you so much.
Of course. Do you have anything you'd like to plug to the audience at all?
So we have our album Alto Designo. It's called Tentacion. It's coming out in the next couple of months. It should be all ready. Thank you so much for having us.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You're listening to Local Vibes.